Futureproof is sponsored by Carrot Events, showcasing your company values with high impact bespoke events. Hello and welcome back from the break. You're watching Futureproof. I'm Sarah Hopwood as I filmed during lockdown, and in the first half I said to you, please, if you're looking for any business training, and much of our stuff is free, particularly if you are a former client of ours or indeed an existing client, there are some online training sessions that we have for you and your staff, and one of our businesses is actually rolling it out through hundreds of their staff, thinking, well, whilst we're not working, you can do some very good training. And it's all Mindshop intellectual property that we have, and they're comprehensive training programs that cover quite a number of subjects. If you are interested, then maybe if you're linked to Paul or I on LinkedIn or indeed via Facebook, then if you look at our profiles, you will see more details of what those training programs are. They just have to be completed by October, so you've got plenty of time, and as I say, it's for business owners and indeed your staff. But so you can either email Paul at mindshop.co.uk, or indeed go to and I was saying earlier, I couldn't remember because we've had our own websites for so long, but I think it's Paul Hopper Consulting Limited, so it's paulhopperconsulting.co.uk I think is the website link. But if you Google him, then you'll certainly find his website, and there are details on there. And I also talked about some of the training programs that we have that are workshops, and talking about the importance of waste and getting rid of waste and eliminating waste. And waste happens in many forms, and now your businesses, many are furloughed. This is the time you can really look at where you have been bleeding money without even realizing it, and it's like a dripping tap, and you kind of always knew it was there, but it wasn't significant enough to have a direct impact on your bottom line. And yet if you actually added up what that waste is costing you in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, then if you actually saw the final number, you know that you would have done something about it, because it has actually had quite an impact on the bottom line, albeit subtle. But now is the time that you can really have a look at that. Presentation skills, I think, are crucial at the moment. Social media is playing a very large part, obviously, in business life, and more. They're saying that social distancing, I don't like those words, I much prefer to call it physical distancing. We should be as sociable as possible during this time. Really the mental health issues that people are having with some of this social distancing. So if I can call it physical distancing, it does mean that the camera, albeit your phone, or whether you have a camera at home in a different form, presentation skills are going to be absolutely key. And if I just want to give you a few tips on presentation skills, and then I am going to go into our belief systems and just say a few things about it. Key thing is stop saying to yourself that you're not very good at it. The biggest problem in my experience is people who struggle with presenting to any kind of audience, an online audience or a physical audience, is that they believe they are not very good at it. And if you have that as a proven record to say, I did stand up and speak and I wasn't very good, then may I humbly suggest that many have had that result because they didn't prepare enough. They were winging it. So the first thing with presentation skills is stop winging it. 75% of the preparation is actually done away from the camera, and that is true in many sports fields and other areas, and I know I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. So make sure you are properly prepared. Make sure that you have the notes, that you know what you want to say. Make sure you tell them what you want to tell them, then you tell them what you told them. I'll say that again. You tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them what you told them. And it makes complete sense. And 7 learning principles. One of them is primacy and recency, and that's where we know that people remember usually what you started with, and they usually remember what you finished with, but the bit in the middle might be a bit foggy. So if you tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them, then they should be able to make the dots up a lot easier. But also, I just want to look at something called ABB, and this is looking at belief systems. And I really want to ask you, and I think encourage you to just say, however hard you're working, or wherever you are on the worry spectrum, or indeed the confidence spectrum, what is it that you believe? Because you will always experience what you ultimately believe. So the ABBC model, basically, A is the activating circumstance. So we've got a very good one here, haven't we? Activating circumstance. So the very good one here is, of course, COVID. So I don't know that you can see here, but obviously COVID-19 is the activated circumstances. It's a very good example, something completely out of our control, and we've got no way of getting rid of it. It has control of us, if you like, at the moment, rather than us of it. Yes, the immunisation process is being strongly looked at, but there are no assurances anywhere as to how this is actually going to conclude. So you have the external stimulus, you have something that is happening that is out of our control. Then the 2 B's, so one is our belief, and the other one is our behaviour. And then the C is the conclusion, what actually ends up happening. So let's look at the COVID scenario, and the scenario is, I can't believe it, COVID-19 has come into my, if you like, my field of work, and my business is now dead. Or COVID-19 has come into my onto my ordnance survey map, and I need to think very, very smartly. So there are the belief systems around our response which will determine the outcome. So if I run with the first one, external stimulus is the COVID-19 has happened. My belief systems is, oh my gosh, my business is, so let's say you own a restaurant, for example. We are not going to be able to open for at least 2 years. We are dead, kind of idea. Then what will happen, the behaviours, which is the second B, all your behaviours will reflect what you believe. So you will, for example, tell everybody that you don't think your business is going to survive, and the staff will know, and also you won't think creatively of how to get out of the spot and make it slightly different. And so all your behaviours will support your belief system, which is a negative. And so the ultimate outcome is the business will close because you won't survive. If I stay with the same scenario, looking at the first B we've got here, which is beliefs, then the activating marker is COVID-19 came into my world. The belief system is, there has to be another way of running a restaurant. I don't know what it is yet, but there has to be another way of running a restaurant. So that is your belief system. So all your behaviours will support that. You will say to other people, my business as it looks isn't going to be the same anymore, but there has to be another way to do this. So with you and your friends, they might, that opens up a conversation, it doesn't shut it down. So they'll say, well, what are you thinking then? So you might say, well, I'm thinking of doing a virtual dining experience. I'm extending takeaways. I'm thinking about writing special recipes. And you'll start coming up with this list. What will happen is you obviously will try and test that list, a bit like we're doing with a vaccine at the moment. You know they necessarily won't all work, but the outcomes are or will be that you will run your business, but you will run it in a completely different way. So I commend to you the belief system model, because once we understand this, you can really go into the engine room of your head, if you like, do some tweaking and change some of your beliefs. So the first one, activating, is COVID-19, belief system is my business is dead. Your behaviours will support that in every way, shape and form by what you say and do, and the outcome outcomes is your business will close and not survive. Or COVID-19 belief systems is there has to be another way to do this. Behaviours will support that, so you will come up with some strategies, you will call upon people for ideas and creative thinking, you will use your friends and family to test some of your thinking, and the outcome will be you will still have a business, but it will just look different to the business that you had once before. And you never know, it could well be a million times better, supporting the life balances and the changes that you've been talking about making in your life that previously you were always too busy to make, and now you've ended up with a massive win-win. You still have your business and you have a more enriched life than you had before. Good luck, and do search Paul on the web.